Welcome back, everyone, to the newest episode of Five Downs with Fannon. We have reached episode number 5. All right. As always, as you can see, I am your host, Spencer Fannon. Quick breakdown for those who are new here, which actually is a lot of people because this is, again, only the 5th episode. But each week there's going to be an overarching topic or subject that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to go into more detail 5 times, hence the 5 downs. Now, you might be wondering, why is it 5 downs when in football there's only 4 downs? Well, I'm a Missouri alum, and as any Missouri alum will know, there's the 5 down game, 5th down game. In 1990, Colorado Buffaloes were playing the Missouri Tigers in Columbia, and the referees accidentally gave Colorado an extra down in the red zone, allowing Colorado to score a go-ahead touchdown with only a minute or so left. Colorado ends up winning that game. They go on to split the national title with Georgia Tech that year, 1990. It's just one of the many quirky things that have happened to Missouri football in its history. So, but there's where you get it. So that's the gist of what this show is all about. So we'll get right down to it with first down. All right, time for first down. And first down, we're going to go back to college football, and we got to talk about it. I mean, Ohio State just that defense just dominated Arch Manning and the Longhorns. I mean, they couldn't get anything. I mean, it was a really fun game to watch, unless you had the over, which I did. So it was not great. But I mean, again, 14-7, Ohio State wins. It was pretty much a pick'em game, I believe. So I think Ohio State was initially favored, then it flipped to Texas. It got down to a pick'em. I don't know, whatever it was, but I just know that it didn't go over. I had the over. I think it was a 47.5. It didn't come close to it. 14-7. I mean, both defenses played very, very well. I mean, I can't say. I mean, yes, this topic is more focused on the Ohio State defense and how they handled Arch Manning, but I mean, the Texas defense only gave up 14 points as well, and most spots you're going to win those games. I mean, Texas couldn't get any of the run game going. Arch Manning looked confused on a lot of his dropbacks. He was hesitant. During the broadcast, they were saying that maybe Matt Patricia, who's the new Ohio State DC coming from the NFL, he was doing a lot of show one look pre-snap and then drop back out at post-snap, which just might have confused Arch Manning. I mean, this was his first start on the road and against a really good opponent and such. So it was interesting. I mean, he had one interception. He had a touchdown drive near the end. They had a chance to get in, maybe tie it up late, but had a bad miss on their last possession on third down. There was a crosser coming, I believe, from left to right, and he dirted it in front of the receiver, and the receiver probably could have caught it. At the very least, it would have been 4th and 1. Maybe he gets upfield, gets the first down. It was like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, or something like that. But obviously, incomplete pass, and then the next pass, guy get right in his face, like almost off the snap. Arch is able to throw a ball to the tight end, but it's a good 3 yards short, tackled by Caleb Downs. Turnover on downs ends the game right there. I mean, it happens. It happens like that. I mean, you can't really. I mean, they were playing great defense and stuff, but I mean, the big thing is, I mean, Ohio State is now AP ranked number 1. Texas fell all the way to 7 and stuff. Texas has got some games now with their some more cupcake games leading up, so I think that should help the offense get back on track. But again, that Ohio State defense is it's scary. They lost, I don't know how many players last year. I think almost their entire defensive line, a couple cornerbacks. I think the number they had 14 guys drafted last year, and I think 7 of them in the top 1.5 rounds of the draft. Not defensively, just overall, but still, it's like they just reloaded. I mean, Ryan Day, Matt Patricia, and Brian Hartline, kudos to them for having a good game plan. Julian Sayin didn't need to do too much because the defense was so good. Ohio State only scored 2 touchdowns. One Carnell Tate touchdown pass, and then they believe they have a rushing touchdown and stuff. But it was, just Julian. He didn't lose lose the game, I guess is the phrase you would say it, but he played well enough, just kept them in it, let the defense win it for him, and that's what they did. I think Ohio State's defense stopped Texas on like four fourth down calls plays, so it was like four turnover on downs on top of they had a pick and such. So it's like essentially five, I think close to five or more turnovers if you can consider a turnover on downs a true turnover. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, yeah. So I think Texas will get back into it. I mean, they played this. They've got a big schedule ahead of them, so it's going to be all that. Got everything there, but it's going to be the questions are out there about was the moment too big for Arch? I don't know about that. I mean, I can't really say to get into the kid's head because I've never been in that type of situation. But I think these next couple games going to get his mojo back. You're going to see Texas roll a little bit. So I think again, it was his first road game. So there you go. But I mean, that Ohio State defense, it's for real. And if their offense is solid enough, they're going to be right there at the end in the Big Ten for sure. So, but that's a quick breakdown of Texas, Ohio State. That's first down. Let's go on to second down. All right, second down time, and we got to talk about the other big game. Probably the most surprising result of week one of the college football season. Florida State running rampant over the Crimson Tide. I mean, Alabama scored first, but then it was all Florida State the rest of the game. I mean, it was crazy. 31-17 final score. I mean, they were 14. Florida State was a 14-point underdog, 13 and a half, 14 and a half, somewhere in that range, like essentially 2 touchdown underdog. And they won by 14. I mean, it was a rainy game, so it was very ground based. Alabama's offense just could not get anything going, which was quite surprising just because their offensive line is considered one of the best in the country, one of the best units in the country, not just best offensive lines, but one of the best units in the entire country. So, and they got manhandled by a Florida State defensive line that was all over the place. But going back to this main thing of running rampant, Florida State had 230 yards on the ground. Their quarterback Castellanos had 78 yards rushing himself and a touchdown. I believe all 4 touchdowns were rushing touchdowns for Florida State. Alabama only had 87 yards rushing and stuff. It's just Ty Simpson just couldn't get anything going. He looked very flustered. I mean, credit all to Florida State and their defensive line. They were just coming after and after him. It just couple drops, couple misplays as well, but it's just pressure just seemed to get to Simpson. Not just in the sense of pressure from the defensive line, but just pressure in the game. He just didn't look settled and such. I think a lot of it was because Alabama just couldn't get their running game going, so it didn't set up any play action, anything like that to help Simpson get settled in. And Castellanos, he backed up his talk. They showed it on the broadcast a lot and stuff. Him talking up that Nick Saban isn't there to save Alabama and such like that. And he proved it. He showed out. He played really well. I remember watching him when he was with Boston College against Missouri. He's terrified Missouri fans because helped lead them to, I believe, a win against Missouri. I believe it was in 2023. Let me actually check that. Boston College. I think it was 2023. Yeah. It was definitely not. This is 2023. Where is it? Or was it 2022? Because I think it was in at Boston College. Where is that? Really? Or was it 2024? Maybe it was 2024. Okay, there we go. Let me box score. Yeah, 2024. Individual. Oh, okay. No, so okay, it was. I'm sorry, it was 2024, and Missouri ended up winning. That was the home game. I'm thinking of, I think, going farther back, the time they were at Boston College, And so I think that might have been Drake's first or second year, and they lost on like a in overtime and stuff like that. Gives me what, yeah, Castellanos in that game in the game again 2 years ago, or I'm sorry, last year, Castellanos 3 touchdowns, just was running all over the place. It was he showed a lot, and he showed in this game with Florida State. It's like the guy can move, and the guy's got some moxie. So it's going to be interesting what the rebound is. I mean, there's talk already of will Kalen DeBoer even last the rest of the regular season for Alabama, and Mike Norvell is this going to catapult Florida State to an ACC title game? I think they got back into the top 20 in the AP poll now, and Alabama dropped all the way down to like 15 or something like that. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be. I think Florida State's got a good chance to get to Charlotte for the ACC title game. All that, they play this way for sure, and stuff. And Alabama's got to right the ship, but they've got some like Texas. They've got a bunch of easy games coming up that should help get their confidence back. But they're going to have to win they're going to have to win at least one or two of these tough games later on in the season to have a chance to get to the playoff after a pretty poor performance in Tallahassee against Florida State week 1. So, but there's second down. Let's head on down to third down now. We're back with third down, and as you can read on the screen, LSU won the battle of Death Valley between them and Clemson. I mean, they went into Clemson and won. It was a very low scoring game, 17-10. Again, you got to give all the credit to LSU's defense. They were the deciding factor in that game. Garrett Nussmeier made enough plays, but that defense, it held Clemson to under 300 yards total offense. Only 31 yards rushing. Had a pick. Blake Baker, who's former Missouri defensive coordinator, went to LSU last year. Brought some guys back, and they were all over the place. They were playing fast. They were playing physical, just flying all over the place. And I believe Antonio Williams, Clemson's number one wide receiver, he got hurt early in the first half or first quarter. Didn't play. I don't think he played the rest of the game. So that obviously did limit Clemson and stuff, but they just couldn't get anything on the ground running. Their defense obviously played well enough to win. They only gave up 17 points. But, LSU's defense it was just dominant. They were flying all over the place. It was quite surprising. Brian Kelly finally kind of gets the opening game streak off the snide there. They won, I think, their first season opener in like 4 or 5 years and stuff. A lot of people didn't think. Clemson was favored by, I believe, over a field goal going into this game and stuff. So now it's like, okay, is Clemson the one with the questions? I still think that they've got a very good shot of getting to Charlotte for the ACC title and all that. They've and stuff, all the weapons depending on how Antonio Williams is. But they need to find a running game. Only 31 yards rushing. That's just not going to cut it unless you're playing the air raid and you got Patrick Mahomes or somebody else back there as your quarterback. Or Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson on the outside, something like that with 2019 LSU. But LSU, yeah, they've got weapons. They got the quarterback. They've got a decent running game. And if that defense plays like they did in their opener, maybe they sneak up into the college football playoff at the end of the year. Still gonna I believe they play Georgia. They still got to play Alabama and stuff. But this Clemson win gives them almost certainly a leg up on everybody else because they've already got that one marquee win in house. So now they don't have to win 2 out of the other 3 or something like that. If they lose 2 out of the 3, you still got the Clemson win at the beginning of the year. So, kudos to the Tigers. That defense, surprisingly, a lot of the games this season, at least the big games, were definitely defensive efforts, big defensive efforts by teams to win games. It wasn't the offensive explosion and stuff. It almost felt like a little bit like in spring training or at the start of the baseball season where the pitchers are ahead of the hitters and stuff because pitchers obviously start a little earlier in their warm-ups and stuff like that. So they're more ramped up at the start of the year. It felt almost a little bit like that, but usually it's the offense that has the leg up on defenses because obviously the offenses are going to know what play is being run and stuff. But I mean, again, kudos to the LSU Tigers defense. We'll see if Baker and company can keep it up. He's a very aggressive defensive coordinator, so there are going to be chances for teams to take advantage of counterpunching and stuff like that. But that didn't happen in this game, and LSU came out on top because of it. So, I mean, again, kudos to them. So, here you go, and that's third down. We'll move on now to fourth down. All right, fourth down, and the final marquee game of Week 1, Miami and Notre Dame. I believe it's the first time they've played. I think it's since they were saying on the broadcast. I think 2017, something like that. It's been a long time. And remember, these guys used to play almost every year. I think back in the 80s and the early 90s when Miami was Miami and Notre Dame was Notre Dame. And stuff. Obviously, you have the great ESPN 30 for 30 of the Catholics versus convicts, of all that thing. The U, those two 30 for 30s, which are fantastic. Go watch them and all that. But I mean, again, in a running theme of these segments, it was the defense. It was the defense that came through that made sure that the team won. I mean, Miami's defense was they gave up more points than the other defenses in this. They won 27-24, but they made the plays when they needed to. I mean, they held arguably RB1, running back number 1 in this upcoming draft class, Jeremiah Love. He only had 33 total rushing yards. I think Notre Dame's leading rusher only had like 45. I think they ended up only having like 70 or 80 total rushing yards. Carson Beck played very well, very poised and such. He might have gotten away with a couple throws. I mean, that insane C.J. Daniels catch for that touchdown, he did get kind of lucky because he threw it up and Daniels just made a hell of a catch. But Beck went 20-31, had 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, which is the key. C.J. Carr, the Notre Dame quarterback who was having his first career start, he's the grandson of Lloyd Carr, the former Michigan head coach. And so he played pretty well. Like, he made the plays. He still had a couple freshman mistakes and stuff like that. But I thought he performed admirably. It's just, again, the defensive line of Miami, I did not expect this. They were going after it. They forced 2 turnovers, 1 pick and 1 fumble. They had 3 sacks on Carr. And again, the rushing game of Notre Dame just couldn't get anything going. It was the only time they really did get anything was really the quarterback run game with C.J. Carr, a la Riley Leonard, like last year. But Miami's defensive line was just insane. They were going after it. They were playing harder, playing more physical. Not literally punching the Notre Dame players in the mouth, but like the peripheral. They knocked Miami back, or I'm sorry, Miami's defensive line knocked Notre Dame's offensive line back, and they would not let them get their feet under them. It was very, very interesting to see because Notre Dame's offensive line was considered a very good unit going in this year. And while Miami's defensive line has plenty of talent, they were coming off of a couple downer years and stuff, and people were questioning, would they be able to do it? Would they be able to get that talent and actually scheme it up and play well? And they did. So now Miami's got a marquee win. And Notre Dame, they don't have a lot of marquee games anymore. They've got Texas A&M coming up, which I think is currently their only other ranked opponent and stuff. So they've got to win that, and they got to run the table, and maybe. But with this win for Miami, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say the U is back, but it will be interesting because they're not going to be I did say that they would be the other team with Clemson, but now it's like, okay, well, I mean, Florida State obviously dominated, so they could get back into it. So this is going to be a much broader ACC race, I think, with the Canes playing the way they did in Miami on Sunday night, and how obviously Florida State handled Alabama Saturday, and Clemson played Saturday night. So it's those 3 teams. It's like you're going to have more questions. There's more inkling of, is Clemson not as good? And maybe it's Miami, Florida State, or something to that effect. Carson Beck showed up. it's good to see him back. He played well and everything like that. But if he plays like this and Miami gets it, keeps going, keeps playing, who knows? I mean, maybe you could be back this year. But all right, so that. But anyway, that's fourth down. Those are the four college football topics subjects we're talking about. Let's head on to fifth down, and we're back for fifth down. And probably by the time this airs, it's gonna be Thursday, September 4th, and the NFL season will have pretty much started. I'm aiming to get this out before kickoff of Philly Dallas, the opener of the NFL season. But I mean, it's finally back. I mean, obviously college football returned last week, really 2 weeks ago, I suppose, um, or August 23rd, like the last and stuff, and then you had week one, the real week one, this past weekend as the time of this recording. We've got, but this upcoming week is the first NFL weekend, so it's week one of the NFL, and we got some doozies of games. I mean, I mentioned Philadelphia hosting Dallas. I mean, reigning Super Bowl champs against their bitter division rivals, and they no longer have Micah Parsons to give them really any. I don't know. I wouldn't say any chance because I do think that Dallas has got other talent, but man, I mean, that offensive line for for Philadelphia is already really good. Now they don't have to face Micah Parsons 2 times a year. They're loving that. Um, Sunday night game, you've got Buffalo hosting Baltimore, rematch of the divisional round. I believe the divisional round in the NFL playoffs last year. Buffalo winning that game. I mean, I think that's going to be a great game. The last two MVPs and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson probably could have won or should have won the MVP last year. I mean, his numbers were insane. I guess that they gave it to, or they awarded it to Josh Allen more, I think, because of he had less talent around him, and his numbers were slightly lesser, not worse, lesser than Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson had, I think, a better overall team. So, and of course, Buffalo wins that playoff game. Also got Friday night. You've got a Brazil game. You got Kansas City playing the Chargers. So will the offense of Kansas City show up? I mean, they had a down year last year. They went 15-2, but their defense was not as potent as it had been in the years past. I'm sorry, their offense had not been as potent as in years past. Their defense was fantastic, and I think still will be. And then will Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert that second year have another bump and such like that? I mean, they lost Rashawn Slater during training camps. He's out for the year, so that's going to hurt the offensive line for the Chargers. Games in Brazil, so that should be a lot of fun. This is the second year I believe they've done the Brazil game. Last year was Philly Green Bay to open the season, or maybe it was open the season. The fourth game is the standalone game on Sunday afternoon. Green Bay hosting Detroit. Obviously, Micah Parsons making his Green Bay debut. You got the Detroit Lions playing with a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, some other new players. But again, big divisional matchup in the NFC North. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I think Green Bay is probably favored, and I believe Green Bay is favored in that game because they home field and they've got the new stuff, coaching symmetry and continuity and such. And then final game of the weekend is the Bears hosting the Vikings on Monday Night Football. You got Ben Johnson starting his first game as head coach, and you got JJ McCarthy starting his first game as an NFL quarterback after missing all of 2024 with a meniscus injury. So it's gonna be really interesting. Got a bunch of good games. I mean, what I was going to do with this segment is just doing a couple picks, and we'll see how it goes. So obviously, I got Philly over Dallas. I got Buffalo over Baltimore. Kansas City over the Chargers. Green Bay over Detroit, which hurts because I don't want to pick Green Bay, but I do think that they'll win. And I got Bears over Minnesota. I think the last four, actually, Philly and Kansas City, I could see being bigger ending totals or bigger spreads between winning and losing. I think the other three, Buffalo, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, and Chicago, Minnesota, I think all of those are going to be within a touchdown. I could see the other two games being more than a touchdown to the final score. Because, I mean, Philly, Super Bowl champs, there might be a bit of a hangover because they're getting their rings and everything, but without Micah Parsons, Dallas doesn't really have anybody that scares you on defense. And Philly's got everybody back except for, I believe, one offensive lineman back on that offense, and they still got a great defense. So Kansas City, I think they're going to want to come out and show that their offense is back. They do. They are missing Rashee Rice, who's suspended, I believe, for the first 6 games of the season. But Xavier Worthy, it's still Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid calling plays and everything. So I think they'll be fine. And then Green Bay, I think those will be the bigger, more potential blowout, more potential for a blowout game and stuff. But I mean, yeah, it's just, hey, we got week one football back. We got week one NFL football back. So there you go. I mean, there you go. That's Five Downs with Fannon, the first episode that includes the NFL. So thank you all for watching. Please let me know by what you like or dislike by dropping a like or a comment on the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be awesome. Next week we'll be back. Probably moving forward, this is probably going to be the format for what it is. Talking about some of the games of previous week, and then giving a quick preview of games heading at least for the NFL preview and stuff like that. But if you have any suggestions on what other topics you might like me to talk about, let me know. Drop a comment and stuff. Let me know what you all would like to see, and then. But until next time, thank you again for watching, and see you then.